Have you ever wanted to make a video on a YouTuber's novel? That's me for the second time this year. Uh, that's how they open their videos. We're going to talk about Xiran Jay Zhao's Iron Widow. Xiran Jay Zhao is an author now, congratulations. And they are also a YouTuber who makes videos on media, analyzing and investigating the cultural influences of these particular pieces, what they got right, what they got wrong, in particular focusing on Chinese influences, because they are a Chinese-Canadian author. And it's not exclusively Chinese. They've also done some investigations on the impact of Ultraman and Avatar: The Last Airbender, which takes influence from lots of different Inuit and Asian cultures throughout the continent. And of course, very recently, they have also made some video about our main character and narrator here on the cover, Zetian, the one and only Empress of China. And she's a really fascinating character in her own right, character of history, as a real person. The things that she did and went through, and how she ruled, and these kind of things. In this book, it's also cool. It is a really great book, in my mind, for a number of reasons. But one of the things that I really appreciate about it is that it sort of harkens back to. I'm not saying that Xiran Jay Zhao had this in their head. Sorry. But it harkens back to this thing I've heard Toni Morrison say once, that that she wrote the book she wanted to read, and that's sort of the impetus for her career. I believe that's how what she said, something along those lines. And this is most certainly based on what I've seen from Xiran Jay Zhao's interests on Twitter and in their YouTube videos, the things that they discuss. Most certainly, this is the book that they wanted to read, and I really appreciate that. It has lots of really interesting elements where this lovely plumage here for the bird that we can see is a chrysalis, which is a sort of mecha, taking that Ultraman influence that I mentioned earlier. And it is a great, beautiful, scary, terrifying, excellent tale of revenge against a lot of things, against societal expectations, patriarchy, a young man who brutally sacrificed her older sister in a, you can see the light, in a battle against the Hundans, who are these creatures that the people of Oahah, the soldiers of Oahah, in these chrysalises must destroy, so that they can use the material of their body to make more chrysalises, better, improved chrysalises. Anyway, the story starts off. Zetian is with her family. She's a frontier girl, basically a nobody, as far as anybody's concerned, especially as a woman. It is very clear from everybody that she is essentially property to be sold off, so that her brother can get his own nice piece of property, a wife. Zetian's older sister signed up to battle in these chrysalis, one of these chrysalises, and they were, she was in the nine-tailed fox with Yang Guang, who is a celebrity soldier of sorts that is incredibly popular. And the unfortunate thing about these mechas is that they were deliberately designed to sacrifice the girl, whose chi where was I going with this? Whose chi is on the yin side, if I remember right, and the male, it's co-piloted by a man and a woman. The male is on the yang side, and this is where I get a little bit confused when I'm reading. It was kind of explained clearly, but sometimes these terms get thrown around a lot throughout the novel, and it's not too confusing, but it makes it hard for me personally, as someone who's not able to visualize things in their head. Anyway, they're sort of sacrificed and ground up and turned to dust as completely expendable. And this is by design, which we find out in the novel. How and why? I'll leave that to you to find out. Anyway, because of that, Wu Zetian wants to get revenge. She does not care what happens to her as long as she gets revenge. She really doesn't care what happens to her family because of the expectations that they've set on her, and because the way they treat her, like she's not really a person. Even her mother, her grandmother, the other women in her life, and man, does she get her revenge. It's very interesting how she does. She overpowers Yang Guang in his mind realm. Another one of these sort of difficult things for me to grasp as I'm reading personally. I'm not saying that it won't be hard for someone else, but I'm not very imaginative myself, I suppose. Yeah, she overpowers Yang Guang easily. To get here, she had to give up a young man, Yizhi, who is from Chang'an, and he's from one of the wealthiest families in Huaxia, in Chang'an, which I believe is the capital in Huaxia. And she was quite okay with that because she had one thing on her mind, and that was revenge, and she got it. And then things turn for the worst in a way, because she is paired up with Li Shimin, who is the pilot, a brutal, murderous pilot who murdered his family, of the Vermilion Bird, which we can see here. And through her own cunning and her own wit, she unravels some truths about Huaxia and the way the military is designed, the way these chrysalises are designed, the way propaganda is used, because she is used as propaganda for the military, especially because they're trying to get these two to be what is the term? Like an equal pairing. Oh, I forgot the word. A balanced match or something like that. I forgot the term. So sorry. Which is the best case scenario, as the military wants people to believe, especially young girls and young men, though it doesn't really matter for the girls. They don't really get a choice in anything, which is part of the revenge that she's taking, and it's beautiful to see. um, anyway, Li Shimin is the most powerful soldier of the time, most powerful since Xinjiang, who piloted the Yellow Dragon. I believe he was also the emperor, if I remember right, of his time, and he sort of disappeared, and Zhou province was lost to the Handans, and they've been fighting for it ever since. Or am I mixing things up now? Anyway, this causes all kinds of problems, and there are more to come. But through her own cunning and her own wit, she partners up with Li Shimin and finds a way to work in Yizhi into the mix through his own desire to be around her and supportive of her and love of her. And they form a sort of trifecta to change, revolutionize, radicalize everything. Yeah, revolutionize Huaxia to uncover the truths of how the society functions. Because it turns out, lots of people believe that women are naturally weaker in their qi, and there's 5 different kinds of qi: fire, water, metal, earth, wood. But it turns out actually that's not the case. Anyway, of course, Wu Zetian in real life became the Empress. So, she's going from frontier girl to pilot of the most powerful chrysalis, and she's gonna change the world. She's gonna change Huaxia. She's gonna learn some crazy things at the end, sort of not surprising in a way, certainly, but also very surprising. There are some questions about the Handans. Why are they so aggressive? Well. Anyway, you kind of know where the story's going to go if you know Wu Zetian's history. And I love this book. I think it's very good. I do have some problems with it. Some personal, as a reader, problems for myself. Sometimes it's a little difficult for me to visualize. Well, I can't really visualize, but I do have some kind of sensation going in my head that helps me understand what's going on. Most of the time that works for me just fine when I'm reading, but there are a few times where I'm a little confused about what exactly is going on. But that could just be me. Another thing is that Wu Zetian is the narrator here. Cool. Set in the future. Or a futuristic Huaxia, China. Cool. As I'm reading, and I know that they are the author, so of course it will have their voice. But, man, it really felt like Wu Zetian speaks exactly like the author does in their videos. As a minor nitpick, just my opinion, maybe other people sort of disagree. It's not necessarily a bad thing. I think it is really effective in what it's trying to get across, its themes, about the extreme mistreatment of women, and these kind of things, and exploring all the avenues in which this sort of patriarchal system entrenches itself in all facets of life, and for all kinds of people, not just the men, also the women. We certainly see some women fighting back against this amazing revolutionary young woman. And so I think that's really cool. But in the back of my mind, while I'm reading it, I'm thinking, this is the author talking. Instead of me thinking, oh, Zetian is the one telling me. Yeah, just a minor thing for me. Other than that, I really enjoyed it, and I look forward to more of the author's work. And I think the next book they have coming out next year is for a younger audience. This is a young adult teen book, but I don't know, maybe I won't pick that up, maybe I will, I don't know. I might probably will recommend that one if I do end up reading it and enjoying it. Might recommend it to my workplace so we can have another book in the library. I'm quite impressed with this book, so I guess we'll see. I don't know what I'm talking about. Thank you. Goodbye.